Right. Hello, good morning. So I'm still playing around with this a little bit behind the scenes. It's very interesting how difficult it is to I feel like I get so far into the project itself. So by the by the time I actually have all the environment instructions and everything set up, I'm kind of done with the project, which feels really weird. But I'm learning a lot, and hopefully, this is more about. It's kind of like if you're learning a programming language. Like by the end of the project, you know a lot more about the programming language. So the next time you go for a project, it's gonna be much faster. So I feel like it's almost like learning a programming language, and like you spend a lot more time setting up your environment and everything when you haven't done it before. And even though I set up a lot of environments, doing this is just different. Anyways, so what I thought we could do now, we're gonna explore something new, which is we're gonna open VS Code on GitHub, and then I have this agent comments extension I built. And we're gonna use that to basically just review everything, and it's kind of cool how it works. Let's see. So where are we gonna start? Okay, let's look at we're gonna look at the skills, but I'm also curious about. Can we do word wrap here? There you go. Yeah, so like here there's a bunch of like commands. I think I would prefer having this in the script. Yeah. Yeah, so what I do is that I do Command Shift I, and then I get this like Claude comment. I can change so it's like codex instead, but the cool thing is I think we should move this to its own script and just execute that. And when I save this, the comment pops up here. Now the tricky thing is, like, I'm actually not gonna like commit this or anything, because what I can do, I can just copy these comments, I can put it into Claude and ask it to fix these things. And it's gonna get like the file and the line number where I made the comment. And then like here I don't care because I'm actually not making changes to the actual project, but I could also go in and just delete all the comments. And if you were working locally, you could just tell Claude to go and address all the comments. But you can also do this copy thing. And it's just a very free form way of reviewing your code. You can just go through everything and just comment on everything you see, which I think, for me, reviewing every single PR, I don't want to do that. I want to trust that the AI does what it's supposed to do. But what I would like to do is really just go through the code base from time to time. So I have the context of how the code base looks like. I can make all these tiny comments, and I can create like a cleanup PR kind of thing. Or at least that's how I think about it. One thing that was like surprisingly hard to do was, so we have the Doppler thing here. Do we have, agent review? We had to like manually set up the agent review thing, like the path, which I don't understand why that doesn't work, but anyways. Okay, so let's look at the skills. So this is Claude review workflow and all skills to ensure they accurately reflect the code base. The question is like, when do you do this kind of thing? I was thinking this would be more what Copilot would do. Yeah. I really want this to be a co-pilot's responsibility. So like when you have this like automatic review, it reviews the code and it reviews the agent performance. Yeah, so I think we should rather play around with that. I think we should remove this. Oh, what's like the, I guess it's this. Yeah, let's fix that. So markdown comments should be currently it is. Okay. Does it pick that up still? Yeah, it does. Cool. This SQL completely. Okay, so let's drop that. We're gonna explore that somewhere else. And then we have the debugging. Yeah, and this is using the Vercel logs. I think this makes sense. It should be more stuff here. Oh, let me just manually do this for now. We need another script for the build logs that can also be used for the build logs. I believe this is only the deployment logs. Identify or look for summarize the finding, likely recommend the next, hand off the appropriate skill, research plan, implement based on how well the fix is understood. Yeah, that's fine. Implement, confirm with the user which plan to implement. Yeah, I guess so. Read for first, implement the task following the architecture in Claude MD and style guide in design MD. Check off the completed task. Yup, validate implementation. Don't we have like a script that actually... Okay. This was kind of annoying. Let's see if I can get a new version up. Oh. Do I lose the state of this if I refresh? Okay, we have to try this. I'm kind of scared. Let me copy this just to be sure. Changes you might not be saved. Do we dare to do this? No, let me rather copy this one so we don't have to. Okay. I think we should move these commands into a script file which runs it all, which basically acts as a script to validate the project works. Tell the user, always conclude by running the PR skill to commit and submit the changes, and do not wait for a user to ask. Turns out the required scope changes, update the plan, follow the layer conventions, great. Yeah, test files live next to the file, they're named. Yeah, we're not gonna test TSX files, we're just gonna test TS files, right? We don't have any actual tests for... I don't think that makes sense. We have stories for components. We don't have tests. With mocked services, yeah, it just explains. Thinking we could rather use like a, maybe this is fine. Verified. Use the same testing script as mentioned above. During development. No, let's drop that. We don't need to do that. So we have the plan. Before writing it, you must produce a plan and get it approved. Each branch gets its own folder. No, this. I think we have a script for this. Set up work folder. Yeah, so this should be. But don't we do that in the yeah, we already do that. Okay. Inside work, which is exposed as environment variable work folder. Example. Oh. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because we do expose it on work folder, right? Setup work folder. Yeah. Export work folder. Cool. That should be fine. Short paragraph describing what this plan is. Report. We don't need. Drop this first step. It is created by the start session hook. Check them off, blah, blah, blah. When planning, your identifying any generic reusable, blah, blah, blah. If UX visual prototype already exists, into those existing components rather than rebuilding them. Yes, because we have a new thing. We're going to see that. PR, check for unstage changes. That's fine. And commit them before continuing if a work folder exists. So we can just say capture agent sessions so they're included in the commit. This into the branch work folder if no work. Yes, and that will always be there. Stage and commit changes, push, run type check and lint before submitting. Use the new validate project script here. Yeah, we don't have to say that. Yeah, and here we have referenced things before, blah, blah, blah. I think that's pretty good. Overview, report to PR URL, resolve, addressed with the, yeah. So this is just resolving things, which is great. Research, workflow. I haven't really used this much. Let's just keep it as is. Review. Oh, I think we should rename this. This is more... let us rename this to address feedback scale. Address PR feedback scale, because that's exactly what it is. Find the PR node for the current branch using... rather, let's see. Rather tell it to go to the PR workflow scale, not reiterate what to do. Then we have UI. So iterate on visual appearance. So the cool thing about this is it's different than UX. So these are things that it's so interesting how these terms kind of weigh into different approaches or like different tools. I mean, so for example, UX is more about validating state changes that produces the UI. And then you have the UI skill, which is actually validating how it looks. When to use, the components must have stories. Each story must be named. Story format. Use the new project validate script to verify that things work. Make the color change, blah, blah, blah. Screenshots, that's fine. Again, use the same project validate script. Cool. And then we have UX, user experience, define the full user experience before. And this is using user stories now. The real components and stories render with mock data and screenshot so the user see. I'm very curious about this. When I just changed this, I haven't tried it. Read the request and identify what is already specified. Okay, so this is just something we need to test, I think. We just need to test that. Okay, close all. Now let's take a look at the actual code. So we have our dev thing. Look at that. We have duplicate. Okay. This is duplicate with index.ts. Please move to utils.ts file. Oh, so are we re-implementing? Oh, that's not good. Okay, we have kind of like duplicate. So I think we're just gonna write. So this file looks like a duplicate of index.ts. Let us move the routes into individual files. Use utils.ts for shared utils. and generally deduplicate. Yeah, I think that's enough. And then we have, I'm very curious how the code looks. So we have our desktop and mobile version. So we have our app view. Yeah, I would rather want to see this as, oh yeah, this is, so, oh, this is about the title. Okay, I think we should, I'm not gonna go through all the tests, but let's just go through the code. Rather create a helper function for this. That looked kind of ugly, but yeah, it looks good. Blog editor. Yeah, it's pretty clean. Move this into its own hook. Oh yeah, because initial body. Move this body, save timer, etc. into its own hook. Yeah, that's gonna clean it up quite a bit, I think. Nice. And then we have db post to post. Okay. Not sure why we have that. Oh, it kind of cleans it up, I guess. So we're doing this here in the blog list. Yeah, I guess that's fine for now. That's fine for now. Oh, this is a duplicate. This seems like a duplicate. Or is this... No, this seems to be different. Where was it? Blog list? Or is it the same? Yeah. Does it have... Yeah. Please... please move to utils ts. Do we have a utils? Yeah. db post to post. I wonder if this should really be post db match. Please, yeah, how should we organize this? Like utilities for components? Well, they are, yeah. Please move to utils. Yes, and merge with the other one. Cool. Then we have UI components. We have a button here. Delete confirm. Terminal style destructive confirm. That's fine. Yes, and you can use internal state. That's fine. Then we have our app. Cool. It's actually it's really nice. I like reviewing this because it's just UI. It's exactly what I want it to be. Yeah, we need so I see we have duplicate logic here. I think actually we need source common, where we can have shared hooks and utils. Yeah. We're gonna try that. That's better. Yeah. Other use the new share common utils. And I guess it's the same here. But I do think we should implement a full UI. We could argue we shouldn't do that. Like, there's still some... Like, I remember having these discussions many times. It really is a question of, is your mobile experience more or less different than your desktop experience? And that's it. And if it is, just re-implement. Like, you share like all the state, like the backend is of course shared, but the front end being the components and navigation and all of that is re-implemented, even though you're duplicating a lot of stuff. That's perfectly fine, because the worst thing that happens is that you fix something on mobile and then it breaks on desktop, or the opposite. That's the worst. And then and like for me on mobile, we don't have edit mode, for example, or shouldn't have edit mode. You shouldn't be able to delete or anything. Like, you do your editing on desktop. So I don't think it actually works that way now, but it's supposed to work that way. Yeah. I'm curious. Are these different? Let's see, close others. So we have that button. Are these exactly the same? Oops. Hello. Yeah, these seem to be exactly the same. Yeah. So in the new common folder, we can also have shared UI components. Let's try that. Cool. Yeah, I think that's it for now. And it's really interesting. Like, we have... Oh, we don't use this anymore. I do not think we actually use this anymore. Get rid of it. So we have this database service, and what's kind of cool about it is that oh, I thought that would be actually interesting. So we have a database service, and this runs on the client, right? So when we server-side render, we have you have certain services, and these services operates differently on the server and the client. So on the client, we have a database service that has the same methods. It just talks to the backend. Or as you see, it can say that it's server only, but I can change that, right? And then on the server, we have the same things. But here it actually goes and does the SQL stuff. 2db post. Yeah, that's fine. Post visibility. Yeah, I think I should move this into utils, into a utils TS. And yeah, do not think we are using this. Remove it. But what I was wondering, I thought we were clever about, because what we're doing is that we're shoving the, so basically on the server, well, I thought we were. Wait, are we actually using this? No. Yeah, how do we actually do this? How do we populate the initial? Oh, is that? Oh, yeah, I guess that's in entry client. Oh, here we go and populate. Oh, the initial data. Yeah, I think that's fine. Anyways, so when we server render, we insert the initial data. So initial data. Yeah, we create a service. Go and get the posts. Oh, we pass in user. Yeah, wait, this is not really how I intended it to work. Yeah, but we can do another round there, because this should just pass in services. Is this not passing in services either? Oh, no, it's just passing in user. DB route. Okay. API database service. What's API database service? Wait, where's that coming from? Ooh. Entry client. Service. Oh, we call it API database service. Okay, weird. Yeah, so these should be like, all of this stuff should be part of like services. And what I want is for the database service, I don't think it should be called database service. I think it should be called backend service or something, because it should hold both, or we split up into session service and database service. Yeah, maybe that's better. And these should be like pass as services to the app state. It shouldn't be separated like this. And this route thing, yeah, that should be its own service. Yeah, okay, cool. But that's something, we can do these changes first, and then we can go in and actually refactor the services. So what I should be able to do now, I should be able to go here. I can copy this. We can go to Claude. Please address these. So the thing about copying is that I have to make sure that the code is in the same state as this thing. But that's easy because everything's in the cloud now. So when I go to main here and do something and I go here, it will be the same main. So there's no chance of like being invalid, which is nice. Please address these changes I want to make. Boop. I'm very curious about what it's gonna do here. Yeah, I guess this is gonna take some time. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like there's these different like high level ways of working. One thing is just jumping in, telling it to implement something, and then is what we're doing now, which is like actually doing a full code base review. And then there's this other one, which is like, no, I want to closely like see the code changes. Like, cause now I'm just looking at main, making a bunch of comments, and I'm kind of starting a new session. Also being able to use Claude in the session. But I guess we can do the same there. Yeah, we can do that. Like, cause I can jump into the code on GitHub. Like, my goal is that I don't want the repo to be local at all. I want to create that flow and feel that it's actually working. But the biggest problem is setting up the environment. And I did explore this in I'm gonna find that video. I have a video on it where I built this codex-like experience with sandboxes, and I created this flow where you would point to your repository, but it would use an AI to go through the repository to figure out how to set it up. Like, what is its start scripts and what dependencies does it need in the environment and all of this stuff. And you will kind of go through this flow of like validating the environment, which we're not doing here. It's like a really shitty experience. You go in and you change these like environment settings, you start a new session, you have no idea if it like works, and then you have to like interact with the agent. And then you have to create another session. You can't like fix everything in one session, which kind of sucks. It's probably going to spend a bit of time on that. Yeah, I want to test. Maybe we can like store this somewhere. I think we already did this. Yeah, we already did this. Okay, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna remove all of these. And then I'm gonna refresh, and then we're gonna see if the markdown comments work. No. When I do, also I have to refresh. The name is skill. Does this happen everywhere? Oh. Weirdly, it works in readme.md. Also make the notifications of copy. Remove. Close automatically. Cool. Okay, so that was the issue. There was something about the path. Oh, a different language ID for skill. Oh, it's probably the meta. It's probably because, well, no, that's not true. That's also markdown, right? Hello there. Good morning. Um, bro, I'm um, I'm working on a project where I've been doing this for a long time, exploring how to have a good developer experience working with agents in the cloud. And I've done this for over like almost 2 years now, been exploring this, but I haven't had like enough. Like, I wish I had a startup 1.5 years ago jumping into this, because I previously worked at Code Sandbox. And for me, it's very, very intuitive and just a given that agents are going to be working in sandboxes. Having agents working locally makes absolutely no sense to me. But I understand the developer experience of using agents in the cloud just isn't there yet. So that's what I'm exploring here. I'm using Anthropic's sandbox environment, and I'm basically just trying to make that as good of a developer experience as possible. And then I'm going to write about it. Because I don't have the... Yeah, as I said, if I had the money, if I had the people, I would do a startup on creating the best possible experience of running agents in the cloud, like on sandboxes. Yeah, I guess you could say that. But anyways, the thing is, I wouldn't do it now. I would have done it 1.5 years ago, because now Anthropic and the others are really catching up. Like Codex has, or OpenAI has its own sandboxing infrastructure for agents. You have other startups like Mastra and so on that are really like catching up on this. But it's still a bad developer experience. It is more friction, more threshold to run your agent in the cloud than running it locally. And it's kind of funny because it starts more, always loud. It starts less friction. Like if I go here and I choose like cloud default, I can just go in and choose a repository here. I don't have to clone it. I don't have to do anything. So I can literally go on GitHub, create a repository, go in here, choose it, and start coding. No cloning, nothing. But then you start, I need this dependency in my environment. And what you would typically do locally is that you just go on your terminal and install it, and it's fine. But here you have to go into this. You have to create a custom environment. You have to go in and write this bash script that does the setup. And then you have to start a new agent session to test it. And if it doesn't work, you have to go and change the script. And you have to start another agent session to test it. And it's just a really, really bad experience. But when you have that set up, and also secrets, like we're used to just shove in a .env file, you have your secrets. Super, super simple and straightforward. If you're going to do secrets here, you have to go and register on Doppler or AWS or some kind of secrets manager. At least for Anthropic, I understand OpenAI already has its first-class secrets manager, which is great. But the benefit of using something like Doppler or AWS is that you can link it to Vercel, for example, so that your agent environment split on like staging and production and all of this. It's like it's all properly managed. But it just has a bit too much friction. But yeah, I want to be on the edge of when that actually gets good enough. I want to be there at the moment where that flips, where it's actually less friction to use agents in the cloud than it is using them locally. Did we... still working on it. let's see, we gotta fix on our comments thing. Oh, interesting. So skills, for some reason, aren't identified as a markdown file by VS Code. Interesting. Time progress notifications. We close this out. Okay, I should test that, but it's not important now. I can publish that later. Yeah, we had a lot of changes here, so it's gonna take a little bit of time, I think. But yeah, I'm curious about the refactor we're gonna do. Could we? Oh, wait a minute. Of course, we can jump into that. I didn't think about that. Let's see. Let's close all of this. We can just go in and make the comments. So let's see. We have these services. I'm not sure why it's called API database service here. And this is taking in user and yeah. So I think we should just call this database service. Yeah, and the same here. Just call this database service. It's kind of weird to have these additional things. Yeah. We are not going to store the user here. We need a separate session service, which is going to manage the user. Yeah, and then I want this to have a method here which creates the hydration data for the client. Basically, the string we are going to inject into the HTML. And then I want this client, I want this to rehydrate directly from the HTML, which means that entry client, this logic belongs to the client database service. Now the tricky thing is that we have initial data. So we have initial data. I think we should have a separate initial session. You could argue that adds to the payload. Is preview? No, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, wait, let's not do that. Yeah, no, we're gonna yeah, no, we're gonna do the hydration outside of this. But I wonder if we should have a hydration service. Does that even make sense? No, let's keep that outside of the services. Cool, so now we're gonna have a session service and we're gonna have a database service. And then, yeah, I think the tricky thing here is that the line numbers might change, but maybe that's fine. We should throw if there is no database URL. Then we have posts. That's fine. And then initial data, that's fine. But yeah, here we're gonna change it. Oh, we need a route service, or what should we call it? Navigation service. We should rather have a navigation service that gives the current route and allows navigation. What is it used for? The route. This view. Oh, okay. It changes to editor. Yeah, but that's fine. We can still have a service for that. Do not pass in individual data. It should be a single services object with our services. So this requires a bit of refactor, but that's fine. And then we're going to do the same here. Do not pass in individual data. It should be a single services object with our services. Same as server. It should be contained in a navigation service. Yeah, I think this is basically what we want to do. So we can do this when we're done with these changes. Okay, great. This looks good. Could you set up a PR for this so I can just validate the app still works? But now it's kind of interesting because I just ask it to fix something and it doesn't pick up on any like specific skills related to that. It's not like a UX change or an implementation or anything like that. So it doesn't go to like implementation. It doesn't run the tests or anything like that. It's kind of interesting. So I could have like a fixes workflow if I want to control. And it's what's also interesting about that is I wonder if these flows is very personal to me or if I'm really identifying like general flows. Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I think we should do that other refactor. Yeah, let's just do this PR and then I need to drop. Current behavior. New behavior. So yeah, we have a server utils. We have routes. All API route handlers. Nice. Nice. This is much better. And then we have, yeah, some utils there. We have some hooks. We have some UI. That's good. Get page title helper extracted. Nice. Session start. Extract the session start. Oh yeah. Great. Resell build. Cool. Yeah, this looks great. And does the thing still work? Seemingly. My test post. Okay, this is pretty sweet. I guess it works. That's good. Let's see what Copilot says, and then we'll merge it. But I think this kind of exercise is much better than reviewing individual PRs. And it's a really nice way of doing it. You just go through the code, and whenever you see something you don't like, you just comment. You comment and comment and comment. And then you just give these comments to Claude or whatever, and it'll go in and clean it up for you. Oh, I'm curious if it actually created... Did you actually create... Yeah, now it did it. Look at this. Now we have the full sessions, what it actually did. Oh, this is a pretty big one. Yeah. So now it should actually be looking at how well it performed as well. Yeah, we also, we need to validate these things as well. Wait, what's this? Wait. Oh, sorry, I scrolled past it. No, what is this? Preloaded context. Please address these changes I want to make. It reads all of it. Oh, I think I scrolled into... Yeah, this is really, really cool. Oh, so it loads in... Oh, so we actually see the skill that's being loaded in. Yeah, we don't need to see that. Yeah. Interesting. Is that a specific tool call? Because we don't see... Yeah, whatever. How are you doing, Copilot? There's a lot to go through. Okay, but I don't think I need... Oh, there it is. Yeah, no comments. Let's merge. Fantastic. Great. And then next time we're gonna take these comments and we're gonna make those changes as well. Yeah, I wonder if yeah, it was probably not a well, it doesn't matter because it reads the full file, so it doesn't have to be like specifically on the line. I think it'll understand it regardless. Yeah, so we can do that next time. Cool. Thanks for following along. Bye for now.